Happy Thursday. Today is Thursday, November the 11th, 2021. Today's daily Bible readings come to us from 1 Samuel 2, 1 through 10, and then 1 Samuel 1, 21 through 28, 1 Timothy 6, 11 through 21, or you could have read Psalm 16, Daniel 4, 4 through 18, and then 1 Timothy 6, 11 through 21. Once again, I'm going to take a look at the text from Daniel and just talk about, the dreams that keep you up at night. So the book of Daniel is really big on dreams and visions, and it often falls upon, or pretty much always falls upon, our hero Daniel, aka Belshazzar, Belteshazzar. Anyway, that's his other name that the king likes to call him, to interpret these messages from God. And sometimes, though, not even Daniel really wants to get involved in this. He doesn't really want to. He doesn't want the job because the news is so bad that he just doesn't want to be the guy who has to give it to the king. And you can't blame him. Point in case, today's text. And actually, this is a larger pericope or a larger story that takes place over the next 3 days of the daily Bible reading. So I'm just going to steal Huggins' thunder so that he can't talk about Daniel tomorrow. And I'm going to do this, talk about the whole text that covers today, tomorrow, and then Saturday. Anyway, because I'm not going to be here with y'all. So it's time to trim the tree. And we're not talking about Christmas here. The dream that King Nebuchadnezzar has, it's keeping him up at night, is this dream where there's this tree that's like big glorious tree, and it's out in the field, and like all the birds of the air, because there weren't penguins around, and anyway, but all the birds are nesting in it, and all the animals are taking shelter under it, and it's just like, oh, it's this big impressive tree. And then he finds out that this tree is going to be cut down. The Watchers, nothing to do with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I found out, the Watchers have cast judgment on this tree because the tree is basically full of itself. And so the tree is going to be cut down until there's just a stump left. It's going to lose his mind. Suddenly it's gender specific, and a person is going to lose his mind, and it will be bound up with the most powerful stuff they've got, the strongest stuff they've got, bronze and iron bars. Also, that this tree can understand that God is in control, and so that everybody else watching the tree can understand who is really in control, that they'll understand that God is indeed sovereign. So he tells Daniel this dream, and Daniel, as soon as he hears it, is pretty much concerned. He pretty much knows what's going on, and he tells the king, you're not going to like this, and I really hope that I'm wrong, and this is about somebody else, that one of your enemies, but he's got to tell the king that, you've basically gotten too big for your britches, and that God is going to drive you off your throne, and you're gonna stay off your throne until you've learned your lesson. You're gonna lose your mind for a while, but when you finally come to your senses and you acknowledge who really is boss, that your kingdom will be restored to you along with your mind. So story goes on. This is where the text picks up on Saturday. It happens out that about a year later, after the king had forgotten the warning that was given to him in the dream, and after he had forgotten Daniel's encouragement to hey, if this is you, if this sounds familiar, maybe you should repent of your arrogance and seek God, and then you can forestall this, because God will repent of what he was going to do to you if you repent of what a jerk you're being. Funny how that works. But anyway, he doesn't, and a year later he's walking on his deck, he's got a nice cold drink in his hand. He's looking out, surveying his territory, and he says these words. He says, is this not magnificent Babylon, which I have built for a capital for my mighty power and for my glorious majesty? And as soon as those words leave his mouth, the hammer drops, and that's when God takes his mind from him. He loses his mind and his kingdom all at once. Driven out into the fields, and he eats the grass, and he's he's soaking wet with dew, and his nails grow out, and it looks like an animal, and his hair grows out and gets all matted, so it looks like he has feathers. He's pretty creepy looking, and he spends the fullness of time that he was supposed to under this torment. The funny thing, interestingly enough, is when he looked to himself, he lost his mind and everything that he held so dear and everything that he thought was so important. But when he looks to God, that's when he regains his right senses and his kingdom, consequently. Not going to say that that was a little thing, but the main thing is that he gets his mind back. He regains his senses when he actually looks to God and stops looking to himself. So when you look at a world gone crazy, or even if it's just like at yourself gone crazy, um, gotta stop and ask yourself, who are you looking to and what are you looking for? Because you might not be looking at the right thing or in the right place. Anyway, that's the DBR for today. Get out, enjoy the day. I would say get out and run around, but it looks like it's going to storm with lightning and stuff, so maybe stay inside. But get out, enjoy the day, and Huggins will be back here tomorrow with another DBR for you. Boop.